Howdy, YouTubers. It is I, your coach, Radioactive Mayo. I'm here again. It is week 5 of the PWC now. You can see here, I got the green screen set up behind me. So I apologize if my picture down here is a little bit fuzzy. I'm still playing with the green screen settings a little bit. I got it the best that I could for now, but yeah, this is week 5 of the Pokemon World Championships. I'm going to go over this replay here. We're up against Moonlight. Scary team for sure. We've got Urshifu, Tapu Fini, Salamence, Nidoqueen, Tangrowth, and Signature Mon Orbeetle. So this is one of the top teams in the league. I think they were in like 3rd or 4th place, something like that, at the time of this battle. So this was a big game. You know, Urshifu is a huge threat. Tapu Fini, huge problem for my team. I didn't even bring Dragapult. You can see here, we got Whimsicott, Araquanid, Meloetta, Mega Mawile, Terrakion, and Rotom Heat. But yeah, basically, let's just hop right into it here. So I'm going to lead with Whimsicott because I think it's got a decent lead matchup versus most things, and I'm concerned about this Orbeetle lead. I don't want Orbeetle to go for any shenanigans. I don't know what it's going to do, and primarily I don't want it to set up Sticky Web because if Sticky Web goes up, then stuff like Urshifu and Salamence are going to be even more difficult for me to deal with. So, Whimsicott's got a good matchup versus Urshifu, Salamence, Orbeetle. I'm just going to taunt Orbeetle turn 1. He sees my Rocky Helmet. That's fine. We taunt Orbeetle and prevent it from going up Sticky Web, so that's a perfect first turn for me. No Sticky Webs for Orbeetle. So now, I know there's probably not much that this Orbeetle can do, knowing that it's a Sticky Web set and it's taunted, so I'm just going to U-turn out and try to see what's going to happen, but he actually stays in. So I'm going to bring out Araquanid here, just to see what he might do. I'm assuming at this point he might go for a U-turn of his own, and he does. So Araquanid is in, and he brings out Tapu Fini on Araquanid, and this is actually the matchup that I wanted for Araquanid. This Araquanid set is designed to beat Tapu Fini and Tangrowth, its counters, because I'm actually running an Assault Vest Infestation Araquanid. I'm hoping this Tapu Fini here is not Calm Mind, but I'm hoping it stays in so that I can trap it with an Infestation. And this is perfect because it actually just goes for Taunt turn 1 and we get the Infestation off. Taunt doesn't matter because I have 4 attacks. I'm Assault Vest. And now with the Infestation up, that means this Tapu Fini cannot switch out. And this Tapu Fini is a huge problem for my team. It deals really well with Terrakion, Mega Mawile. You know, if it's offensive, it can smack Rotom Heat and, you know, take hits from a lot of stuff on my team. But we have trapped it with Infestation, and now I'm just going to sit here and spam Poison Jab and try to knock it out. Knocks off my Assault Vest, totally fine. So luckily it turns out this Tapu Fini was not a more offensive Calm Mind variant, but more of a defensive set, presumably to deal with Dragapult, with Knockoff and Draining Kiss. But this works out perfectly because you can see here, we can just spam Poison Jab, chip it down a little bit with the Infestation damage. This thing cannot switch out. It has no recovery outside of Draining Kiss, and we can just pick up the KO here on Tapu Fini with Araquanid. So this is excellent for me. This is exactly what I wanted Araquanid to do, and it worked out perfectly. So, proud of you, Araquanid. Really proud of you. Let's see what he goes out into now, and it's going to be the Urshifu. So, at this point, I still think I can save Araquanid. It can potentially do the same thing to Tangrowth if I get the Infestation off on it and spam Leech Life. Additionally, like firing off a Liquidation on something like Nidoqueen could be really good. I have a defensive Whimsicott as my answer to this Urshifu, so I'm just going to go into that. As he just goes for Wicked Blow, takes the Rocky Helmet chip, which is exactly what I want. So Whimsicott here is designed to switch into this Urshifu. I should be guaranteed faster with my speed creep, and I can just go for Moonblast. I don't expect him to stay in, but for some reason if he stayed in, I could knock this thing out with Moonblast, and there isn't really much on his team that wants to take a Moonblast aside from Nidoqueen. So I'm just going to fire off a Moonblast here, as we actually see Orbeetle come out, which is totally fine. We see Orbeetle come back out, and I'm just going to taunt that thing right again, because you already know that Whimsicott is just going to taunt Orbeetle every time, because I do not want Sticky Web going up. I do not want anything going up like screens, but he's actually just going to go for a U-turn. So smart play predicting the taunt, but that that whole exchange worked out really well for me because all that ended up happening really was he just took chip damage on Orbeetle for no reason, 24% from Moonblast and 16% from Rocky Helmet, when he could have just gone Nidoqueen in the first place and ate the Moonblast comfortably. So I'll take that all day. Now Orbeetle is low, it's at 39%, and that minimal chip damage on Whimsicott does not really matter, but Nidoqueen is in. I do not want to stay in on Nidoqueen. I should be faster, so I'm just going to go for U-turn. My answer to this Nidoqueen is going to be Meloetta. Meloetta can take any hit that this Nidoqueen should want to go for with its natural special defense. This is a modest choice specs Meloetta, so I want to be able to get this thing in and fire off attacks. And looking at their team, there is no resist to Hyper Voice, so I should be able to take this hit comfortably. Goes for Sludge Wave, only does 34, so not a problem at all. And now a Specs Hyper Voice should do a lot to this Nidoqueen or anything that might want to switch in. Don't necessarily expect it to stay in because I could go for the Psychic move. We could see an Orbeetle sack here. We could see Tangrowth. I'm just going to go for a Specs Hyper Voice. Nidoqueen does stay in and take 50% from the Hyper Voice. The fact that Nidoqueen only takes 50% tells me that it's Assault Vest, but it's still 2-hit KO'd because of the U-turn chip from Whimsicott. And we take the other Sludge Wave comfortably. Now we're only at 27, but I can just fire off a Hyper Voice again, and that is going to take out the Assault Vest Nidoqueen. So Choice Specs Meloetta muscles through Assault Vest Nidoqueen. We take that thing out, and that's fantastic because that opens up a huge door for my Mega Mawile, as well as Terrakion. Nidoqueen dealt really well with those two offensive threats on my team, so I am very glad to get that thing out of the way early. But this is a free switch right back into Urshifu. Urshifu is going to be faster here. I have to decide right now if Meloetta is worth holding on to. And I thought a lot about this turn, and I ultimately decided that it's not. I could, in theory, switch into my defensive Whimsicott again and take the Wicked Blow comfortably, if that's what he goes for, but I figure if this thing has Poison Jab to hit Whimsicott, he could go for it here because Meloetta would still die to a Poison Jab from this range and potentially predict Whimsicott on the switch in. And I can't risk Whimsicott this early on because I need the HP on it to be able to continue to take hits from Urshifu next time it comes in. So if I take the chip damage on Whimsicott now, it's not going to be able to deal with Urshifu next time. And Meloetta isn't super useful at this point, aside from maybe getting the hit off on Tangrowth. Just going to let it go down. We actually see U-turn from Urshifu here, and that's perfect for me because best case scenario, now we get to see what they're going to go into, and we can get the switch initiative on them. So U-turn, best case scenario there. They're just going to bring out Orbeetle again. And even though I could go into Terrakion, I don't want to miss Stone Edge. I could go Rotom Heat, but if I go Rotom Heat, Orbeetle could be faster and set up Sticky Web. So I'm just going to make the safe play. I'm going to go into Whimsicott, and I'm going to click Taunt. I'm going to click Taunt every time on this Orbeetle. Doesn't matter what it does. And there we go. Block the Sticky Web once again. At this point, so Orbeetle is low. And I figure, Nidoqueen is dead. Tapu Fini is dead. Neither Urshifu or Salamence want to switch into a Moonblast. If he goes into Tangrowth, no big deal, we U-turn out. I'm just going to fire off a Moonblast, potentially 2-hit KO this Orbeetle here. Maybe after Rocky Helmet I can take it out, but he actually goes for Psychic. I was hoping Moonblast plus Rocky Helmet from U-turn would knock out Orbeetle. We see Psychic from Orbeetle. Critical hit, but Whimsicott survives at 3%. So clutch play by Whimsicott here, surviving the Psychic from Orbeetle, and now I can just follow that up with another Moonblast and take out the Orbeetle. So Whimsicott is looking like the MVP of this match so far, dealing with Urshifu, shutting down Orbeetle. But now we're only at 3%, and we see Urshifu come out here. Now, let me go back one turn, let me explain. So, Urshifu comes out on Whimsicott. Like I said, I have enough speed on Whimsicott to guarantee outspeed this Urshifu, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go for Moonblast here. Only way he outspeeds me if he's Scarfed, or if he goes for Sucker Punch. There's no reason for me to go for anything else, though, because Prankster moves don't work on dark types. So I'm just going to go for Moonblast here. And we see that Urshifu outspeeds Whimsicott with U-turn. So I know for a fact now that this Urshifu is Choice Scarf, which is important because it's going to outspeed my Terrakion and potentially kill it with close combat if that's what it locks itself into. So Scarf Urshifu is a problem. I need to make sure I save Mawile healthy in the back to be able to take those hits. I am a defensive Impish Mawile to be able to take the hits from Urshifu. But Urshifu U-turns out, and we see Tangrowth come out now. So Tangrowth is out here on the floor, but you know what? That's not a huge problem because I can cook this noodle up with my oven. I'm just going to switch that thing out. Now, I don't expect Tangrowth to want to stay in and take an overheat, so I am just going to Volt Switch here. But Tangrowth actually stays in and takes the Volt Switch, so that's totally fine. I'm going to bring out Araquanid because at this point, Araquanid is looking pretty expendable. And if this Tangrowth doesn't do for much, I can just spam Leech Life in front of it. Araquanid is going to die to any hit from Urshifu or Salamence. I need to be careful of that Salamence because I don't know what set that Salamence is yet. But like I said, Araquanid's pretty expendable. Tangrowth just goes for Leech Seed and misses Leech Seed, so that's totally fine. I'm just going to fire off a Leech Life here, try to get some chip damage, as we finally see Salamence come out. Now, we don't see Intimidate, so I know this thing is Moxie. It's probably offensive, and that tells me it's probably physically offensive, which is fine. At this point, I'm going to go into my physically defensive Rotom Heat to potentially deal with anything that the Salamence might want to do, as he just goes for dual Wing Beat, and we take that hit comfortably, trying to pick up the KO on Araquanid. We take that well, though. I'm just going to fire off a Volt Switch here. Don't know if he's going to stay in. Doubt he goes Tangrowth, but I just want to get momentum and see what he does. As we actually see Dragon Dance come out. So I get the Volt Switch off, and I'm thinking, okay, this is totally fine because I can bring out Mawile and get off the Intimidate. Save the Intimidate on Mawile. After the Dragon Dance, we can Intimidate Salamence, get it back to neutral attack. Now I know this is a physical attacking Salamence. We've seen Dual Wing Beat. It could have Earthquake, but like I said, I am a defensive Mega Mawile. I have a ton of EVs in defense. I'm Impish, so we should be able to take this hit comfortably. And I'm just going to fire off a Play Rough here. But it makes a safe switch out into Tangrowth, which is totally fine. Tangrowth eats this hit pretty well. I don't have a ton of attack investment, and it is Rocky Helmet Tangrowth, so I need to be careful here. I can't let Mawile get too low after the Rocky Helmet chip because I needed to potentially deal with Urshifu. A Scarf Urshifu close combat late game could beat me because it'll outspeed Terrakion. So I need to save Mawile healthy for that. But Mawile deals really well with both Urshifu and Salamence, so I'm not going to keep it in here on Tangrowth. I could go into Rotom Heat here pretty comfortably, but we've only seen Leech Seed on this Tangrowth. I don't know what else it has, and I don't really want to risk a potential Sleep Powder or anything too risky. Like I said earlier, Araquanid is pretty expendable. Oh no, I do choose to go Rotom Heat here. I lied. I thought I went Araquanid. I choose to go Rotom Heat as he just goes for Volt Switch. So Rotom Heat is in. He just goes for Leech Seed again. I'm going to go for Volt Switch though, as he brings out Salamence. Okay, so I'm getting myself confused. We bring out Rotom Heat on Tangrowth. Just go for Volt Switch because, like I said, don't expect Tangrowth to stay in on the overheat. And we catch Salamence with the Volt Switch. So this is perfect. I don't have to deal with this Leech Seed. And now I know for a fact that Terrakion will guarantee be faster than the Salamence, and we can just knock it out with a close combat. I know it's not Scarf because we've seen Dragon Dance, and this will always be faster. Close combat is free because Urshifu can't take it, and I don't think Tangrowth wants to take it. So Terrakion removes Salamence there, which is beautiful. But now Tangrowth comes back out at full HP. We really got to be careful with this Tangrowth. This is the play now where I choose to bring out Araquanid because Araquanid is expendable. I can spam Leech Life. Salamence is dead, so I can freely just spam Leech Life against these last two things and probably take anything Tangrowth wants to go for. Don't want to risk Rotom Heat at this point because an Overheat is looking like a potential kill. So we just go Araquanid and we spam Leech Life as this Tangrowth only goes for Leech Seed. As we get the Leech Life chip damage off on Urshifu, even after the Leech Seed, that's still some nice chip damage. It's below 50% now. At this point, I don't really want to bring in anything to take this hit from Urshifu. I think I'm just going to let Araquanid go down. I know Urshifu is Scarf, so it can't set up in front of me, and I should be able to live a close combat because it's a resist-assisted hit. If anything, Wicked Blow takes me out here, but that's fine. Araquanid has done its job. I don't want anything else to take this hit. Gonna let Araquanid go down here to the Wicked Blow. And now I can bring out Terrakion. He thinks I could be Choice Scarf. I'm not. I'm sort of bluffing the Choice Scarf here, but it doesn't matter because he's locked into Wicked Blow, and I can take that anyway. Um, the obvious switch is Tangrowth, but I'm still going to click Close Combat. And Tangrowth takes the Close Combat comfortably, and we take the Rocky Helmet chip. But I'm just going to go straight back out into Rotom Heat here. Hopefully no Sleep Powder, just Leech Seed. Literally, this Tangrowth only knows one move, and it's Leech Seed. And at this point, Overheat is looking like a kill. Urshifu is below 50%, so I should be able to knock it out with an Overheat. Tangrowth does not want to take the Overheat, so I'm just going to click Overheat now, and Overheat removes the Tangrowth. And at this point, this game is looking like GG. All we have left is the Urshifu. Just going to click a Save Volt switch, and we actually survived the Wicked Blow with defensive Rotom Heat. Love Rotom Heat, but now I know he's locked into Wicked Blow. Just going to go Terrakion, take that Wicked Blow, and finish him off with a close combat. So, this game goes well for me. We deal with Urshifu the best we can. I think Whimsicott was honestly the MVP. Being able to pivot around Urshifu early game, shut down Orbeetle, deal with that. Araquanid trapping Tapu Fini early game was also amazing. If Tapu Fini stuck around to late game, it would have been a lot harder for me to get any offensive momentum like I had. But I felt like I had momentum most of that game. GG to Moonlight, played that really well. Glad we got that win. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you enjoy. This has been week 5 of the PWC. I think we're now 4-1, so we're right up there. I think we're in second place right now in the league, which is great. So I will see you all next time in week 6. Take care and goodbye.